Now is a good time to talk about chip drop. See a lot of you guys are starting to get your chip drops in, and I'm a guy that knows all about chip drop. Wood chips are great in the garden. They're good for walkways. I like to utilize wood chips in my perennial areas. I've got some information a lot of people aren't talking about with chip drop, so I'm going to bring you that information as well as a few chip drop tips. Chip Drop's going to give you a fair warning on their website that they're going to give you a lot of wood chips. You can't just ask them for what you need. You are going to get at least a dump truck load. They're also not going to cater to where you want the wood chips. If I had my way, they'd be dumping my chips in the back of my yard. That's not the case. They're going to dump them in your driveway. They're going to block your garage. Depending on the size of the truck that comes to your house with the wood chips, you're going to get anywhere from 10 to 25 yards of wood chips. But don't tune out just yet. That's just the basic information on what to expect. I'm doing this video now because I'm down to my last pile of wood chips. This whole thing was covered in wood chips about 8 feet high at one point. And I've used most of them in the garden and for composting. So let's go into tip number one, because I see some of you guys are already getting your chip drops. I prefer to get my chip drops during the summertime when storms are hitting. I know you don't get the pick when you get your chip drop, but if you want to get it quicker, give them like a $20 or $40 tip on the website and they'll come right away. Now we want to get these wood chips in the summertime when storms are going through, because we are getting trees that probably did not have a disease. Maybe they just got knocked down by a storm. It's very important. We don't want to use diseased wood chips in our gardens. And also, when you get your wood chips in the summertime, the trees have all the sap inside them. It's extra nitrogen. And when they pile these up, you're going to notice these piles heat up. So you already have composting action in your wood chips. And that is the end goal using wood chips. You want the fungi and certain bacteria that come in, break them down into nice soil to use, as well as mulch. When you get your wood chips in the springtime, you're getting trees that are just coming out of dormancy. They're not full of sap yet. You're not getting all that good extra stuff that's stored in the roots. So I'd advise wait till summertime, big storms coming through, or you see storms about to come through, put your chip drop order in, and you should get them at the right time. Here's tip number two, if it matters to you. On the chip drop website, they'll let you, in a note box, put what kind of wood chips you don't want. With my first 2 dump truck loads of chip drop, I did not do that. And guess what I got? Black walnut. If you're not familiar with black walnut, there's a chemical in the tree, the roots, the leaves, everything, the walnuts themselves, that makes a lot of plants not want to grow. And I said if it matters to you, because it does not matter to me. I have used black walnut in my garden. I have no issues whatsoever. As soon as that tree is chopped down and air hits that and it's dead, it's not putting off the juglone anymore. And the idea with wood chips is to not mix them in the soil anyway. So you'll get the beneficial fungi come in, they'll clean up all that juglone and it will not be an issue. Everything is good. Maybe you don't want any pine in there. In my opinion, pine is great. Those green needles, really great nitrogen source. And also I use it to amend my soil for the blueberries. Some people don't like cedar. Digging through, looks like between all my chip drops, I have a mixture of pine, some black walnut, some maple, a little bit of cottonwood and oak mixed in there. But again, if you're scared of black walnut, I don't know if it's a conspiracy theory, but I think if you don't put it in there, there's a big dump truck load of black walnut waiting for you. Tip number 3, if you got the space to do it, or you have somewhere to move them, let your wood chips sit in a pile as long as you can. If you have a means to turn them when they get hot, because they will, you'll see smoke coming out of them if you dig in there, do that. They'll break down really quick. Check out my pile here. There's the back side I have not touched. And if you go inside here and dig, you can see it's starting to break down really nice. There's a lot of fungi in here. That's what we're looking for. These work a lot better once they break down. They'll break down on the surface of the soil, but having them in a big pile like this helps them keep moisture inside there and really helps the fungus thrive. And the fungus are so important. There's a lot we don't understand about mushrooms. But mushrooms, they can get any toxins, pesticides, anything that could have been on these trees. The mushrooms clean it up. I heard one guy talking about just pouring urine into his chip drop pile and just watching the smoke come off as that extra nitrogen just started breaking these wood chips down. And this kind of goes back to the fact of getting the wood chips at the right time of year where you actually have sap in the trees, because that's a good nitrogen source as well, and it's going to heat up your chip pile. Let's take a look at some of these wood chips to demonstrate the decomposition in the pile versus in the garden. So you can kind of tell by walking through here where I put wood chips down first and some of the last places I did it. So I started here. You'll notice here we got a lot of big wood chips, big chunks. And as we make our way to the back, where I did the last of my wood chips, you can see that most of this is a lot more broken down. A lot smaller pieces inside here. You can do it, having those smaller pieces. Definitely the preferred method. Besides the amount of chips you're going to get, I have not seen anyone else covering these other topics or tips. So expect a large load of wood chips. Don't jump the gun and get them too early. Specify what chips you don't want before you order them. And if you can, let your piles compost in place. Wood chips are awesome for the garden. I highly suggest getting them. And in a couple months, I'll be getting more. Thanks for watching.